Good morning, everybody, and a very, very warm welcome to our All-island Obesity Action Forum. I'm Aileen McGloin. I am the Director of Nutrition at Safefood, and I'm going to be your chair this morning. We have a great programme ahead of us, and I'm really looking forward to hearing all of the speakers. I would just also like to take the opportunity to thank our partners. That's the Association for the Study of Obesity on the island of Ireland, and the Association for the Study of Obesity Network in Northern Ireland. So very, very warm thanks to our colleagues there. I have some housekeeping bits to just go through before I welcome Niamh Arthurs to give you your opening address. So for questions, we don't expect to have a lot of time after each speaker to ask questions, but if we do have time, we can do it then, but otherwise we will have a Q&A panel at the very end of the conference, so we can ask plenty of questions there. A welcome, of course, to those who are joining us online as well. If you're asking a question online, there's a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Please ask your questions there, and if you want to address that question to a particular speaker, just let us know. If there's any technical issues for those who are joining us online, there's a chat box at the bottom of your screen. So please alert us if there's any issues there as well. We do want people to tweet during the conference, so the hashtag is Obesity Forum, and we'd really welcome you spreading the word about the conference and spreading the message about obesity stigma this morning, so please do that. And lastly, of course, this session is being recorded, so it'll be available to you, and we will email you the details of how to access that later on. So the last thing to do is to welcome Niamh. Thank you so much, Niamh, who's going to give us our opening address.
Good morning. My name is Niamh Arthurs. I'm a registered dietitian, and I'm here today representing the Association for the Study of Obesity on the Island of Ireland, the ASOI. The ASOI aims to develop an understanding of obesity through the pursuit of excellence in research and in education. It also aims to facilitate contact between individuals and organisations, such as partnering with Safefood and with ASO UK for this event today, and with our friends internationally, such as the European Coalition for People with Obesity, and you'll hear from Johnny Lamb later on, and the Irish Coalition for People Living with Obesity, the ICPO, and you'll hear from Ms. Susie Burney later on. We also aim to promote action to help prevent and treat obesity, and a lot of our work on the ASOI involves advocacy. Advocacy to address obesity stigma and to reduce negative encounters experienced by those living with obesity. The importance of addressing obesity stigma will be explained today by the fantastic lineup of speakers that we have, and I guarantee you that those of you tuned in here in this room and online, and even those watching back, that you will be informed, interested, and feel insightful after these speakers today. But what I would encourage you to really take from this event is how you are going to make a difference. What are you going to do? How are you going to act to help reduce obesity stigma in Ireland and perhaps on media or internationally? You are obviously tuned in here today because either you're curious when you saw this event, perhaps you're interested in the area, perhaps you've been affected personally, or someone you know has been affected by obesity stigma, or because you care. And often that is the issue with obesity stigma. It often happens by those who do care and who don't understand that perhaps the words they are using or how they are acting or behaving is actually negatively affecting an individual. Some say knowledge is power. Others say that applied knowledge is powerful. But if we mix those two together and do a bit of maths, then that means that shared knowledge multiplies the power of that. And I'm going to be honest, maths was never one of my strongest subjects at school. I was always better at language. So I'm going to focus on doing a bit of a lesson on people first language here today. Can I get a show of hands in the room? And if those of you online want to raise your virtual hand, who here has heard of people first language? Okay, so about maybe half the room in here, and you'll notice that I'm wearing on my badge, I'm wearing a banner that says, "I'm people first." The importance of people first language is that it's through language that we share not only knowledge, but also attitudes. And our attitudes can affect our behaviours. And our behaviours can influence actions. Now that can be positively or negatively. We decide. But it's with that knowledge that gives us that power, that informed understanding. An adjective describes a noun. So we might describe a person as funny, or a nice man, a clever woman, a smart girl, a charming boy. But we don't describe people as a disease or a medical condition. We don't say a heart diseased person or cancerous people. So why would we do the same for the disease of obesity? And I appreciate that this may be new information, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to learn and to share this knowledge. But obesity was actually first recognized as a disease by the World Health Organization in 1948. Just let that sink in there for a moment. Natural pause. As I said, a lot of people don't actually realize that, but obesity is a chronic relapsing disease, and it's also a gateway disease to a range of other chronic diseases, such as type 2 diabetes, such as heart disease, and some cancers. And we know that obesity is associated with over 230 different complications. So it affects an individual's health and their quality of life. I have the utmost pleasure and privilege of working with families, and I often explain to children and teenagers that we all have different colour hair, we all have different colour eyes, we all come in different body shapes and sizes, and that's okay. It's actually good, because if we were all the same, well, quite frankly, the world would be rather boring. And usually when I explain it in this way, I might get a laugh, a little giggle, I might get a smile, or sometimes it's just the child or a teenager in front of me who are looking down at the ground, perhaps because they've been shamed, they've been blamed, they might be scared. They look up and they make eye contact with me. Obesity needs to be about health. Our focus and the narrative needs to be about health and about quality of life. It is not about weight, but yet this is generally the public narrative that still prevails in society, often in healthcare as well, in the media. And that is why all of you who are listening here in this room, online, and watching this recording back, we need to keep sharing this knowledge, because we need to make the new narrative people first, and that is describing the person first. So a person with obesity, people with obesity, children or families affected by obesity or living with obesity, and not the obese person or individual. It needs to be the other way around. The more we do that, the more it becomes the norm, and the more we can help change perceptions, behaviours, attitudes, and actions on media, including social media, in society, in healthcare, and the better a place the world would be for everyone. Remember that you are a role model, be it at home, at work, on media, or in society. So I encourage you to use this knowledge from today, and if there's one thing you can do, is to stop yourself from using that word obese and just think about that individual human being or child when you see the big headlines or when you hear about it in work or whatever it is, obesity. Remember, for all those statistics or numbers, there's a human being and a child behind them. And that is why we need to use respectful, non-stigmatizing language and share this understanding. So I'd like to just finish by again encouraging you to use people-first language and remember that obesity is about health and quality of life. Is mission ní bhartas le meas, gur bhí míle mágwibh go léir as an gcuiste ASOI. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you enjoy the event.
Wow, what a start. If I had to sum that up in 3 words, it would be positive, people first, and powerful. Thank you so much, Niamh, for that fantastic opening.